Alright, we are recording. Happy Thanksgiving. It is 10:40 at night, as you can see on my screen here. So I spent the day stuffing my fucking face. I had 3 breakfasts. Breakfast? I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I just slept for 4 hours. Turkey makes me sleepy like I just took Oxycontin. So, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, ripping CDs. How do you do it? What do you need? So I went to my uncle's for dinner, and he had a fuck ton of CDs. And I'm too broke right now to buy a lot of the music that I listen to. And normally what I do is I buy the MP3s off Amazon. Because there's no DRM, I can just download them to my computer after I buy them. And then I can put them on whatever fucking device I want. I wish they'd do that with ebooks and movies and video games, but they fucking don't. Music is really the only thing they do that with, and it fucking sucks. So, I've got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Greatest Hits. I borrowed a handful because I didn't get enough time to, get them all, so he'll come pick these up. I got Billy Squier, The Cars, John Cougar, Mellencamp, American Fool. Fun fact, I used to own that on cassette. Yes, I am old enough to remember cassettes. Even though CDs were around when I was a kid. I still use cassettes. Mainly because I found like a huge fucking case of cassettes, and like that's one of the ways I got into a lot of the music I got into. John Cougar, Mellencamp, Scarecrow, Nickelback, INXS, Kick, and Eminem's Encore. I already downloaded another Eminem album. So if we go to my files here, pretty much all of this shit was, the exception of Dick Dynamite and Doppelganger, Five Finger Death Punch, Foster the People, this one. This entire top row, with the exception of Black Label Society, was there. So I actually want to go into the Cars right now first. And, because the problem with CDs and why I don't buy them anymore, what you'd really know if you ever listen to Sum 41 is that there's a lot of fucking filler on CDs. So if you buy a CD, there might be 1 or 2 songs that you want to listen to, and so you just wasted $10, $12, whatever that costs. So I can actually delete this entire album because this was the greatest hits, and this album sucks dick, and I'm not joking. One of the best songs the Cars ever made, which was actually in Stranger Things, was Moving in Stereo, and Greatest Hits did not have that song. And this has pretty much all the songs I just mentioned, so we're gonna go with this album instead. But first up, we're gonna take a look at Tom Petty. So first off, you're gonna want to go into your software manager, and there's 2 ways you can do this. You can type in rip CDs. We're going to wait for this to load. So you can type in rip CDs or CD, and my internet on. This is how I found it, but it doesn't look like it's working right now, so what you're going to want to type in is Asunder. Why is my E not working? My E is stuck. I'm going to have to clean this keyboard. So Asunder is a graphical audio CD ripper and encoder. And this is one of the reasons why I say it's important to have multiple pieces of software in Linux. So Asunder rips CDs and adds it to your library, whereas Brazero, which is made by the GNOME team, I believe, that creates CDs and DVDs. So you have two pieces of software that do two very separate things. And if you know someone with a stash of CDs, most computers don't come with an optical disc drive anymore, which is fucking stupid. Especially if you have Blu-rays and you're trying to do like a Plex server or something like that. You need an optical drive, man. So we're gonna close that, and as I said, you can get a lot of music if you have someone who just has like a stash of CDs for free. Put them on your computer. Or a library. Libraries actually have a lot of CDs as well. So if you go down to your local library, you can probably get a lot of music for free instead of buying it. I'm a cheap bastard. I know. So anyways, we're going to go into Asunder here. And we're going to check what songs you want. So, Listen to Our Hearts, not one of my faves. I Need to Know, nope. Here it comes. You Got Lucky, no. Free Fall, Learning to Fly, Integrate, something in there. And then, if you go into Preferences here, you're going to want to select the destination, otherwise it's going to go right to your home folder. And if you go into encode, you can see here, you got the bit rate, you got the quality. So we're not doing FLAC. We could do MP3s here. In fact, I probably should have. But as you can see here, I've been not doing that. I've been doing OGG files. Whatever the fuck that is. Oh. So you can't create MP3 files without a additional package. Can you do FLAC? No. FLAC. So it looks like you need, if you want to do FLAC or MP3s, you need an additional piece of software. I've never really used Asunder, so this is like a first for me. I've been doing it all day. It's pretty easy to pick up. You just select what tracks you want from the CD. So we're just going to keep going with OGG. And then there's a button here that says RIP. And we're ripping. Everything plays fine in Rhythm Box here. That's the MP3 player or music player that comes standard with Linux Mint. For those of you who haven't seen Rhythm Box, this is it. Here you have all your music. So I know I have a weird variation of music. Marilyn Manson, Leonard Skinner, music from like the 50s. The Golden Hits came out in '88, but I think this was like a 50s era music artist. I don't fucking know. I can't think. I'm tired of shit. Yet I'm not tired. Queen, Quiet Riot, Smash Mouth, Tears for Fears. Let me get my headphones. So, let me pull this down real quick. So, these are Bluetooth headphones that I got. forget how much I paid for them. They're by One Audio. They sound really fucking awesome. They have two buttons here for volume up and down. I like connecting these and listening to the TV because you can actually use these for your Apple TV because they're Bluetooth. But what's kind of weird is you have kind of a locking mechanism here. I don't know if it's going to show on camera, but there's like a little locking mechanism, and that kind of fucks with the case where the headphone jack is. But that's not an issue here on my computer. And then on the other side, you have the much bigger, much fatter, forget the name, that's 3.5, I forget what this one is. 5 1/4? I don't fucking know. And that just goes in there. And voila. So let's go back to Rhythm Box. So let's say I wanted to play something. Click that. It's pretty straightforward. And then you have this here. Now my computer has volume buttons, so I can control everything from the keyboard. If I were to get a desktop, I'd definitely want the media keys. But it's very hard to find one. And then you have that here. You can control the jump around here in the song. Add music. Close that for now. Yeah, I wish you could mass remove files, so if you were playing something or if you deleted a file and it was previous in here, if you don't go in and do this shit, it's just gonna be there. These were all pirated. So I'm basically in the process of paying for all my music and replacing the pirated shit. I don't really pirate music much anymore, if at all, and that's because I have Napster and Apple Music. Napster used to be a pirated service. Rhapsody bought them out. It's $10 a month, and they recently rebranded as Napster, which is really weird. The weirdest part about Napster is that Metallica sued the shit out of Napster and their users, and they didn't like the fact that their music was on Napster. I got news for you, all the Metallica shit's on Napster. Of course now there's DRM and you have to pay a monthly subscription, but it's kind of funny. You know, they fought like hell not to have their shit on Napster, and it cost them a lot of money. And I'm not talking just about the court cases and legal fees and shit. Metallica, for the longest time, when all these streaming services were coming out and shit, you couldn't find any of their music on a streaming service at all. And it was really fucked up because like everything else was there, but no Metallica. You had to go to like Amazon and buy the music. They wouldn't let you stream it. They wouldn't try and make money off that, and that cost them a lot, I would imagine. Because, you know, when the entire industry is going, yeah, we're going to still sell our music, but we also want to make money from streaming it. Because, you know, people are paying $10, if not more, a month to listen to this shit. And I really do recommend streaming services. I know I'm against it for a lot of things, but for like TV services, it's better than cable. Even though I have like 8, it's still cheaper than cable. I broke that down on Twitter. I'd be paying like something like $50, $60 more, even though I have like 8 streaming services. if I were to switch to cable, because I would have cable, but there would be a lot of things I would be missing. So DC Universe, Verve, and Netflix I'd still have to pay for. Uh, you know, and I'm really glad Comcast is finally doing the whole Peacock streaming and giving people a chance to not pay for cable just to get a Sci-Fi Channel. And yeah, it's gonna be another $6, but who gives a shit? So we're gonna press the eject button here on my keyboard. Now that that's done, and we're gonna continue. Right now, for streaming services, I've got HBO, Showtime, Stars, Shudder, so that's 4. I got Netflix, that's 5. I got DC Universe and Verve, 6, 7. I got Funimation, that's 8. And, so I subscribed to 8, and I'm still paying less than I would with cable. And then, for free with ads, I have Pluto, Stir, and, I downloaded PBS and a couple other channels, but, you know, my grandfather has the triple play, and I'm just paying him for the internet, so that's $68 I pay for the internet. And, I'm basically just using the cable login right now for Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. And, so whenever you press this, if you haven't set this up, so I'm going to just hit always perform this action. I want it to ask me what to do. And then you can actually go and play it from, so if you have CDs you can play it from here too. Those are all the same. Song sucks. 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 Okay. Damn it. The only difficult thing I have about Linux Mint is, if I go too far somewhere, because I don't have like a third wheel mouse, so if there's like something down here, I might accidentally trigger the status bar. I have it set so it automatically hides whenever something's covering it up. Doing something. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's in progress. Wondering where that thing went. There it is. Now, unfortunately, my computer isn't powerful enough to, and this is how shit my computer is. I can't listen to a CD while it's ripping. It will skip. I mean, it takes 8 hours to render a fucking video, and, yeah, this computer just sucks. There's like shit all over my computer screen right now. I really shouldn't have been eating apple pie and ice cream near my computer earlier. Okay. Hit the eject button. I really do enjoy a wide variety of pretty much any genre of music. But if I'm being honest, pop music kind of died in the 60s. In that, 60s and prior, way before I was born. I'm only 28, I'm not that old. They used to play their own instruments, so it actually sounded really good. Of course, like, Backstreet Boys and up till the 2000s. Still sounded decent in that, yeah, sure, it was leaning more towards electronic. Uh, and that everything was done with the computer, but at least even in early pop music, growing up like the 90s and 2000s, when I was a kid, there was still structure to the music. I've noticed in recent years there's less and less music to listen to because everything's just shit. I mean, the music it isn't even structured right. Uh, it's not written well. Taylor Swift is a perfect example of that. Jesus Christ. Almost every song of hers is basically the same plot. Uh, oh, I met a boy, we broke up, boo hoo, woe is me, please pity me. Uh, that bullshit. Uh, and then, she can't rap for shit. She's tried. Her rap is fucking terrible. And, she's just not a good musician, and it's a perfect example of what society's come to. Because she's a terrible musician. She can't sing for shit. She has no actual talent. And, yet she's made millions of fucking dollars. Despite having no fucking talent. And if you want to know what I mean by she can't sing, go listen to her cover of September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Holy shit, that was terrible. I've always kind of had the belief that what truly makes a musician great, or what really proves that they're talented, is if they do a cover and the cover sounds like something they wrote. Uh, Marilyn Manson has done a ton of covers, and it always sounds like something he wrote. In fact, he actually recently did one that I bought off Amazon, and that was Johnny Cash's "God's Gonna Cut You Down." Marilyn Manson, JKLM. It wouldn't be in an album. Uh, Here it is, Marilyn Manson. So that was a Johnny Cash cover. Marilyn Manson's done a lot of covers that sound like he wrote it. Okay, that's done. Another person who's done a lot of covers, another band I should say that's done a lot of covers, is Children of Bodom. They're a Finnish group named after the Lake Bodom murders. They're a metal group. So I'll show you that in a second, because the album I have, which was pirated, is just an entire album of covers. And remember what I said about filler on CDs? Here's a perfect example of filler. All these songs on this entire album fucking suck. Devil Inside is really the only good one. And maybe Kick. So if you paid $12 for this, you got 2 good songs and that was it. This is why I don't buy CDs. And why I never really liked buying CDs. Because there are very few artists that are good enough to actually buy a CD. Marilyn Manson, I would buy CDs from that he made or whatever the fuck you want to call it, simply because there's nothing of his that he's ever made that I won't listen to, and there are very few artists like that for me. support that. So Children of Bodom here. This is a Creedence Clearwater Revival cover. Pat Benatar cover. I forget who did that one. But as you can see, these are all covers. This entire album, Skeletons in My Closet, is all covers. They even covered Britney Spears. And guess what? It all sounds like they fucking wrote it. It all sounds great. And there are very few artists that can do that. Taylor Swift proves she is not one of them. And for me, that's always proved how talented an artist is if they can just cover something and it sounds good, like they wrote it. Now, I'll listen to pretty much anything: country, psychobilly, rockabilly, doo-wop, oldies, rock, metal, grunge, hip-hop, new metal, even pop. But like, there's very little things I have that are like modern. Fuck that song. Okay, this is getting annoying. So, let's go to settings for a second. Wouldn't be startup applications. I don't think it's preferred either. I'm just gonna do like ask what to do here, but apparently, yeah, this is what you do. Not that much filler in Nickelback. And yes, I actually enjoy Nickelback. So, here's an advantage of Linux over Windows. Ready for this? Oh, look, there's an update. Okay. Enter my password. Waiting. Downloading. And installing. And I have it set up so once that's done, it'll just cancel itself and shut itself off. But as you can see, we are working, and I don't have to stop working to update. Yay, Linux. Fuck you, Windows. Seriously, fuck Windows. I cannot stand it. The other thing I don't like about this computer is it has a slot loader like the Wii and Wii U does, where you put the CDs in. I never really liked those too much as opposed to like a top loader or tray. Just because the thing, so there's something that like grabs a disc like this and drags it in when you put the CD in the slot, and those can fail a lot easier than a tray would. So there's that. And unfortunately, because it's slot load, it'd be much more difficult to upgrade it to a Blu-ray player. I'd have to pay extra for a slot-loaded Blu-ray player, which I'm not fucking doing for this laptop. I've already spent more than enough money into this laptop. I upgraded the AC Wi-Fi card, and I also upgraded the keyboard. I put a backlit keyboard on it. That's what I like about Dell. You can just upgrade them if you didn't buy like a specific thing. Okay, so let's get this out. Let's do Billy Squire, and then we'll wrap up this video. So again, put the CD right into your drive. Have a sender open. It'll get the disk info from the internet. There it is. Checking disk. In the dark sucks. Again, you pay like $12 for this, and not much. Not much at all. How long is this video so far? $32 minutes? That's fine. So we're gonna go with Scarecrow. Now, unfortunately, one thing I found that when you buy music from Amazon, you get the album cover. So this is the version of Thunder 2.9.2, 2.9.2. Unfortunately, not every album cover is included when you burn a CD. So I gotta figure out a way to do that after this. Probably I'll just download it off the internet and add it to the file or whatever. It's okay. Can't do anything while it's ripping. I'm gonna see if I can't find out how to get it to MP3. I mean, it's not that it's not working, because it is working. Lame was not found in your file path. So there's lame. And what is it I need for FLAC? FLAC. F-L-A-C. There's FLAC. FLAC files take up a lot of space, so I don't use them personally. So we're just going to hit apply here. Show details. Apply. And there it is, it's installing. Okay, that is done. Okay, now we have the ability to do MP3s. So let's rip it again. And let's see if there's a difference between MP3 and... There's not visually anyways. I mean audio quality anyways. I can't tell the fucking difference between an MP3 and a FLAC file. It all sounds the fucking same, and I have really good hearing. So what's that tell you? I think MP3 takes quicker. Takes less time. Goes quicker. I can't think right now. Yeah, you can see there's still no album cover, so it doesn't matter. And they sound exactly the fucking same, so. I think I'm gonna keep it as this. and so all the CDs I make. And another John Cougar Mellencamp, and that'll be the end of this video. Move. Back to music. Cancel. Don't want you to do anything. Jack and Diane. David Bowie also did a song called China Girl. I like David Bowie's better. It was an actually good song. Oh, also you can see the update disappeared because it's done installing. And I don't have to reboot or anything. Yay. Looking at like a 45-minute video. Oh, my back is killing me. But, it's the only thing I don't like about, burning CDs so far is a lot of them don't have the album cover into the file. Whereas if I bought them off Amazon, they would. It'd just be baked right into the file. I'll show you that in a second, actually, now that that's done. So we can quit Asunder now. And that's a stack of CDs all set and backed up onto my computer. And file. Prison Box doesn't want to update in real time, so oh, that's why it wasn't showing. So John Cougar went by 2 names, so it's just doing that shit again. Great, thanks. So let's take Marilyn Manson, for example. So basically, as you can see, for a lot of Amazon shit, if we go into the file here, most of the time when you get a CD, you get like a folder, and then you get all the music, and then you get like this shit here. With Amazon, when you buy music, for the most part, you end up with something like this, where it's just a file here. Actually, because that's the one. So if we go to the one I just showed you, there's the album cover. It's baked into the file. And so there's that. Now, what we're gonna do, I'll go ahead and shut this down for now. We're gonna go into files here, because now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the USB plug to our phone. So here we go. That's being used by the microphone. Of course it is. Getting old. Okay, so we're just gonna exit out of that. And we're gonna open up our 1+1 codename Bacon in a new tab. We're going to unlock the phone. If the phone is locked, as you can see, and that's one of the things I love about Ubuntu Touch, in Android, if your phone is locked, you can just plug it in and read the file system. As you can see, what I just did, you can't read the file system until you put in your password with Ubuntu Touch, so that is fucking kick-ass. So, we're going to go into music here, and hold down and highlight all this shit. Go over to just a random one, and we're going to hit copy, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to select all this shit, and we're going to hit the delete button. Now I have my computer set up so anytime I install something, it overrides what I've deleted. So that way nothing can be recovered. I just like having my computer set up that way for security. And this is how you transfer music to your Ubuntu Touch phone device, whatever. It's basically the same as you would any MP3 player that's not made by Apple. And that's one of the reasons why I never really liked Apple, is because the way they make their devices, it really is made to make people like me who know what the fuck they're doing look like fucking fools. Because, you know, MP3, or music in general, you just copy it from one folder, put it into another like I'm doing here. That's not the case with Apple. If you own music, so if you have MP3s that you bought off Amazon or whatever, or CDs, there were numerous cases of iTunes just deleting your shit because you didn't buy it from iTunes. You had to use iTunes to put music onto your iPod, and you know, everyone in high school was like, "Oh, I've got the new iPod, yeah," and here I am with a cheap SanDisk $20 MP3 player that takes a AAA battery, and I was much happier with it because I could just do something like this where it's just copy and paste. Yeah, back in my day, back in high school, I had a flip phone, and I had an MP3 player. Not like today where everything's on one device. Oh, and calendars. Yeah, you have to get yourself a digital pocket calendar. I wasn't one of the cool nerds who had a Palm Pilot or, something like that. PDA, that's what I was looking for. I didn't have a PDA. I wasn't that cool of a nerd. Okay, so are we connected via Bluetooth here on my music? Okay, so as you can see, the music is in the folder here. All that music is now on Ubuntu Touch. And it's doing like a search or some shit. I'm gonna exit out, go into it again. There it is. I don't know if I can listen to this Bluetooth while wired. I'm gonna give it a shot. I can. Acts Like That by Eminem. Also, if you're one of those people who, and this was one of the things I hated about certain group homes, you couldn't have unrated movies and parental advisory music. Oh no, it's got swears. Fuck you. But yeah, all my music is now available on my Ubuntu Touch device, and I just gotta figure out how to get the album covers. I know how to do it on Android, I don't know how to do it on Linux yet. So that'll be the video. I hope you learned something. I learned a couple things of how to set up a Sunder. Please consider subscribing to random reviews and shit. I'm going to make more Linux content in the future, and hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. I think I ate way too much food, but that's okay. It's not really Thanksgiving until you sit in a corner of the house, your family's alone, playing with your computer, and gaining 10 pounds at the end of the day. If that's not how Thanksgiving's supposed to be, then yeah, my family's truly dysfunctional as fuck, and I'm seriously fucking fucked up. But that's okay. So, that's the video. Again, hope you learned something. Maybe consider subscribing. I'm available on many social media, so if you want to know everything I eat, because I'm one of those fucking jackasses who does that, Instagram, go follow me there. I'm also on Twitter, Mastodon, and Gab, at MortalsDemise13 for all of them. Again, that's at MortalsDemise13, and hope you liked the video. I'm going to end it here. Have a great day. It's been a long one. It's almost an hour, but that's okay.